So, you're thinking about joining the Merchant Navy, huh? It's this incredible life of adventure, of seeing the world, and honestly, a ton of responsibility. But here's the thing, before you even get a whiff of that sea air, you have to run what they call the gauntlet. It's a whole series of trials, and trust me, they're designed to test more than just what you know. They test who you are. So today, let's chart that course together.
And this is it. This is square one. The very first question, and you know what? It might just be the most important one they ask. It's the gatekeeper. Before they even think about asking you about physics or math, they want to know your why. Your answer here tells them everything. Your motivation, if you've done your homework, and if you're really committed to a life that is, well, it's anything but ordinary.
Okay, so if you've got that conviction, if your why is strong enough, you get to face your first real test, the Knowledge Gauntlet. Now, this is not your typical high school exam, not even close. Think of it more like a rapid-fire mental workout, designed to see just how broad your knowledge is and how fast you can switch gears. Right, so let's dive in. The exam might kick off with something like this, a straight-up history question, pure factual recall. Seems easy enough, doesn't it? But don't get too comfortable. Because the very next question could be this. Bam! You're thrown right into the deep end of advanced calculus. The mental jump from World War II history to trigonometry is huge, and that's exactly the point. They want to see just how agile your mind really is. And just when your brain is starting to grapple with those integrals, you're suddenly in a chemistry lab. It's a pretty fundamental question, sure, but it's all part of the plan to keep you on your toes, to see if that core scientific knowledge is really locked in. And the mental whiplash just keeps coming. Next up, a test of your English, your vocabulary, your command of the language. It's all part of the whole package. You've got to be able to communicate clearly and precisely. On a ship, that's not some soft skill, it's a survival skill.
And to top it all off, you'll land on a physics problem. And this isn't just about whether you memorized a formula. It's about whether you can pull it out of your memory under pressure and actually apply it correctly. The whole written exam is a mental marathon, testing your range from history to physics all at the same time.
So, if you manage to survive that written test, you make it to the interview room. And this is where the game completely changes. They're not just testing how much you know anymore. Now they're testing how deep your knowledge goes. Welcome to the technical deep dive. A classic question they'll hit you with is, so why deck over engine? Or the other way around. See, you've chosen a path. You either want to be navigating the ship from the bridge or keeping its heart beating down in the engine room. And you better be able to explain that choice, to really defend it with some genuine understanding. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. They'll probe your understanding with something that seems simple. They might start with a basic definition, like viscosity, but then comes the follow-up. Okay, so how does temperature affect a fluid's viscosity? They need to see if you can actually think through the science, not just spit back something you memorized. And the technical questions, they can come from anywhere. The difference between AC and DC, that hidden energy and phase changes called latent heat, the Doppler effect, how a mirage forms. Your entire science education is fair game, and they expect you to be able to explain these big concepts clearly and simply. This is a perfect example of how they connect the textbook stuff to the real world. It's a classic question, and it's a direct test of whether you really understand latent heat. See, it's one thing to define it, but it's a whole other thing to explain why that hidden energy packed inside steam makes it so much more dangerous than boiling water. But here's the pivot. This is the crucial point. Once they're convinced you've got the technical brain power, the interview takes a hard turn. It completely stops being about what you know and starts being about who you are. This is where they test your character compass. The interviewers are going to be real quick to bring your dreams crashing back down to reality. They'll ask you what you think a deck cadet actually does. And they're not talking about staring at the horizon from the bridge. Nope. They mean chipping rust, painting, mopping, cleaning, and working grueling, physically demanding hours. They have to know you're ready for the work, not just the postcard version of the job. And then they might hit you with a line just like this one, which is from a real candidate's experience. This is a gut check, a humility check. Are you prepared to do the absolute least glamorous job on that ship? Your reaction right there in that moment tells them everything they need to know about your attitude and your work ethic. This one tests your resilience. What's your plan B? How do you handle failure? A life at sea is just packed with unexpected challenges, and they need to see that you have the mental strength, the fortitude,
to face a setback without completely falling apart.
So after they've tested your mind and they've tested your attitude, the gauntlet leads you to its final and honestly, its most profound challenge. This one has nothing to do with physics or chipping paint. This is about the personal sacrifices that you have to be willing to make. And there it is, the question that just hangs in the air. You're on a ship, thousands of miles from everyone you love, and there's an emergency back home. You can't just leave. Your duty is to that ship. There really is no single right answer here. What they're looking for is maturity, some foresight, and an honest acknowledgement of the enormous personal challenge this career demands. It's a test of your emotional strength and whether you truly get what you're signing up for. The journey to the Merchant Navy, it's more than an exam, it's a deep dive into your own limits. It tests your knowledge, your skill, and when all is said and done, it tests your character. So the final question, it isn't from them, it's for you. Are you ready to face that horizon?